Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the former world champion Zerg in the red, the Executioner. It's Rogue. But up against another former world champion, the Terran in the blue, we have Oliveira. A best of 3 Terran versus Zerg showdown between Oliveira's razor-sharp timings and Rogue's tendency to live life on the edge. I expect incredibly good games for the fans. And if that's something you want to expect on a regular basis, well, join me in today's tribute to the algorithm by smashing that like button. And if you haven't made it there yet, it'd be awesome if you could subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we at? 1,440p likes on this video. On this cast. I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. Alcyone, Reaper, headed across the map. The Zerglings move to intercept. They can't catch the Reaper if Oliveira's paying attention, but that doesn't mean they'll stop trying. And unlike a dog chasing cars, those Zerglings know exactly what to do if they get it. But the entire early game depends on this flirtatious dance between the early Zerglings and Queens and the Reaper, and then maybe we heat things up a little bit with the Hellions. But just keeping control of the creep, ideally denying a third, despite whatever the Hatchery Owners Association says about... Oh! Almost gets out of the way in time. But the Zerglings and the Queen, it's a bit of a mess right now. But Oliveira going for the drone, might get it, but actually gets put down by the Queen. Get off my creep. Good job, Brenda. Okay. First blood goes to Rogue, as biting off a lot more than he could chew with that Reaper. Confirmed, not Clem. Oliveira so far, but he really wanted that drone to delay the third. Any delay on the third because until Zergling speed is done, there's no kill on the Reaper. Not really. Unless they get a little too greedy with it. So any delay on the third base means more delay on the production, the economy, the larva, and of course that gives the Terrans an advantage as time goes on because Oliveira already has a third command center nearly done. He's going to have his third base before the Zerg does, as is the lot in life nowadays. But will he be able to land it at his third base location? That really depends on how well this early game goes. A Viking to start things off, to pillage its way through the Overlords across the map and maybe cover for... What is that? Banshee speed? He's not even faking it. Like, if you were going to fake something for the Overlord to see, you'd go with Interference Matrix, which costs half as much. Hyperflight Rotors. No, that's not a satisfactory item. Actually, it might be. Either way, Hyperflight Rotors increases Banshee speed to ludicrous levels, makes it faster than pretty much everything but a Mutalisk. So, becomes very difficult to deal with. The downside being, of course, most of the targets you need to deal with, you still need to be in range of to engage. And the Hellions, whoa, okay, loses 2 of them to the Queens, who are getting a surprising amount done early here. But I'm sure Rogue not complaining. The rocks, the archaeology project done in record time. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone take down a set of destructible rocks before the 5-minute mark. Dustin Browder's crying tears of joy somewhere, and he doesn't know why. Well, single Zergling shuts the door at the top of the ramp, but... So that Banshee speed is on the way, and it will look... It doesn't look like he's going for some sort of... Really, all the Hellions for one Zergling? A very important Zergling, though. 4 more barracks behind. It's going to be a bio-explosion. The likes of which we've never seen since at least the last time someone went Ravagers, but... Stim, Banshee speed, and +1 infantry weapons and armor on the way. Rogue has already gotten a lair, though. He's got a dozen creep tumors in production as he's metastasizing across the map. He's got his Evo chambers just now started, so Oliveira will be maintaining... Did he just go for 2 speed Banshees? Did he mean to get Cloak? So, there's an argument on both sides of it. Cloak, you can potentially find an opportunity to just get a ton of kills, but speed Banshees are obviously more maneuverable. I rarely do you see speed without Cloak, but plenty of times do you see Cloak without speed. And I understand the irony of most of these statements, but Okay, well, if queens and spores are in position, it still shouldn't be too huge of an issue. And you know what? I think he might be regretting not getting that. Yeah, well, can't outrun the knitting needles. That was a whole lot of nothing. In fact, a bit of a negative there, losing the Banshee so early on. And no matter how fast you run, you still need to get in range of the mineral line, which the queens are protecting with a lethal vengeance. Brenda's revenge is legendary and merciless. And the creep spread is already extending heavily across the map. The downside of not using those Banshees with the early Hellions is pretty much no control. Okay, you know, I think the speed Banshees are actually too good. They're so fast. He had to have misclicked Cloak, right? Like, they're so fast and potentially furious that they can't even really be microed very well. And you still need to hit those drones. So, very questionable moves with the Banshees, but not so questionable with everything else behind. As Oliveira has more army supply, he's working on combat shield, he's going to have 1-1 done. Armory's already completed, 2-2 upgrades can start right behind. And now, he's reached the halfway mark at the watchtower, and he's going to start clearing the creep. Rogue already has 79 drones. He's a bit supply blocked at 153 supply, but I know one way he could fix that. Rogue thinking about it himself as he's lining up the links and banes. He's already taken down these rocks down the center. And something to point out, not a disparaging remark, but Rogue has the lowest APM I've ever seen of a modern professional Zerg. Like, Cyril's pretty low at like usually 400 to 450. Rogue is under about 350 APM, which is absolutely like, let's get your heart rate checked out over there for Zerg players. Like, even for Protoss, that might be a bit concerning. But he manages to do so. He has probably the most efficient Zerg gameplay. It doesn't seem like he's skipping anything. In fact, he's done some of the most ridiculous high APM strategies, but he just works so much smarter and not harder. And that's why he's been the villain slash hero of so many StarCraft tournaments in the past. It's not because he's just better, it's just because he mentally defeats you. Physically, with dozens of banelings rolling through the center of the map. Now, despite the seemingly strong exchange there for Rogue, though, do not underestimate the Terran attrition. The creep spread has been pushed back. Oliveira maintains a similar supply, and he's still got siege tanks and medevacs. Rolling banelings and off creep comes at a cost, and a heavy one at that. The upgrades are even, the army supplies, but now the queens can be pulled into the fray. Gonna try to take down some of the medevacs, take a bit of a pounding from the tanks and marines, but another round. 2 siege tanks. Is that going to be enough? Good target fire from Oliveira. He picks up some of the marines, but they won't all make it out. The siege tanks are taken down as the monarchy bears down on them with the weight of the Imperial Zerg Empire. Imperial Empire. I never said they were articulate. Well, the medevacs get away for now. And Oliveira beaten down 15 supply. Now there's a hive on the way, a Hydralisk Den, as Rogue angles for lurkers. We'll see if we see his trademarked mass changeling strat. But that's usually used as a counter to the more turtly Ghost and Liberator style. Ladies. As opposed to the attrition-based Marine medevac siege tanks, and maybe some Widow Mines thrown in there. But Rogue has so many Zerglings on the field. Lings and Banes, the creep spread was once looking good, and now, well, not as good. As Oliveira finds another queen. Picks up most of those Marines. Meanwhile, trying to collapse on this army. The Widow Mines will burrow. He'll protect them with some of the Marines. They don't get any hits off. He doesn't need detection, either manually detonated or just A-click the Banes. And he deals with it. Now 2-2's done. Upgrades dead even for both sides. That's redundant, but more Widow Mines, pre-splitting the Lings. He'll eat some hits, and there's not much more behind it. The door's open. The Zerglings will tear it down anyways. Banelings roll it into the third, counter-attacking set of medevacs on both sides. but the SCVs will be gutted. He got in behind the wall and ripped through the economy, but at the same time, the Marines gutting down Queens. Another set kind of lost track of what they were doing, heading for the hatchery at the bottom right. The Marines were forced back. Lings are pushed out. A couple more into the main base. The Zerglings ripping down. Mr. Zergachev, tear down this wall. As the Zerglings again finding a target. He doesn't have adrenal glands yet. He's working on lurker range. The Marines are back for more, but the Hydras are able to push him away. Oliveira, despite the superficial damage that Rogue was able to do. Oh my god, he burrowed 6 banelings over here. Oliveira maintained 62 supply. Oh, this command center is burning. That's kind of an important one. We'll keep tabs on that. Vipers on the way. Still no adrenal gland. No! It's fine. Big job, huh? Oh, shut up, Billy. One SCV contracted out to repair this entire command center. Typical. The Banelings will actually spot a command center floating over to the bottom corner. So the result of that battle, I think, a draw. But one thing that Rogue's doing, he's got the burrowed Zerglings. Well, and also the unburrowed Banelings. He left 2 of them, but they're burrowed Zerglings right outside the base, and they're unburrowed Zerglings taking down the command center to the 6 o'clock. But pretty devastating. He did get adrenal glands. It takes the Zerglings attacking for like 2 seconds untouched for Zergs usually to realize it. But Rogue, to his credit, was able to recognize it. There goes the Whittle Mine drop. No more Minecraft. This game isn't on Game Pass yet. Uh-oh. Well, Whittle Mine's dealt with. Minimal damage, but more mines covering the field. Adrenal glands nearly done. Nidus is on the way. Just one? Rogue has 69 creep tumors, which is a nice creep coverage, but definitely could be better. Banelings rolled in again and got 6 more SCVs. And things slow down because both players took such hits. Oh my god, there's so many lines. And he's got the drilling claws, of course, so they do remain cloaked. Liberator finally taken out. No Spire on the way, which means eventually Liberators could become a deadly... These burrowed Zerglings. This is the real win here. This is what allows Rogue to play so much smarter. The little details. He burrowed it. He spent 1 APM, maybe 2, depending on how you select and use it, but he burrowed those Zerglings, and now he pretty much has map hacks in those angles, and he doesn't even have to scan for it. He knows where the army's moving out. The ghosts keep walking over the burrowed lanes. This one a bit more obvious, but that Zergling just too cute to land on. All right, until it gets revealed to be the ugly soul it is. By a scan. Nidus in the main. SCVs, the boys are pulled. And Banelings roll it in on top of the planetary. It should be just enough to take it out. 14 SCVs alongside it. The ghosts, the SCVs of the siege tank, will take out the main. +3 Carapace is now done for the Zerg, obviously. +3 infantry weapons and armor for the Terrans. They also got +1 mech plating. We've got dozens of lurkers and Banelings morphing. A nuclear missile has entered the production tab. As both players have attempted, after the devastating full-on fight, both players trying to circumvent the brunt of their opponent. Oh my god, there was a burrowed Zergling providing vision. The boys are... This one's gonna finish. And another Nidus. Wait, does he have 2 now? He does. Alright, always looking to up that throughput. The Nidus is... Well, this is a bit of an awkward positioning. Oliveira set up his base very well to deny exactly this. A Venn diagram of freedom raining down from the Liberators. And I feel like this is the most efficient way to launder hundreds of minerals and gas and lurkers towards your opponent. Oliveira, in the last 45 seconds, has killed 3,300, 2,100 in resources to 18,250. So not only the best deals here from Rogue. But the Banelings are rolling in, smack another planetary. It's not the cheapest thing, but it is effective. Another drop to the north side, targets the medevac, takes it down. Marines will be next. Those burrowed. Oh, another Overseer. Just glides through the main, slaps down a Nidus in the process. More units trundling across the map. Both sides nearly maxed out. Well, Rogue is maxed out, and Oliveira not far from it. Oliveira actually has 128 army supply, as he has significantly less workers. So leveraging a lot more on the field, and that's a lot of Ghosts and Liberators, though some Changelings mixed in here. The Vipers yank out several of the Liberators out of siege mode. Hydras will finish off the last one. The Changelings kind of getting in the way of his own Banelings. I'm not exactly sure that's the ideal move there. Another wave of Hydraling Bane. The Nidus was dealt with. Another one in the main, though. Nidus number 8, but Banelings whittled down, and the Ghost count grows dramatically. But the double Nidus will overwhelm a single siege tank, but not Marauders as well. So the real MVPs are those burrowed Zerglings, though. Constantly giving the vision he needs to make smarter decisions. So far, Rogue continuing on that attrition-based Hydraling Bane. He's thrown a few Vipers into the mix. Oliveira, he's looking good. Oh my. I was going to say he's looking good economically, but I brought up this tab, and that does not look very good economically. Even with mules. He doesn't have the iron bank of orbitals to just drop down an entire stable of mules. He only has 4 of them, and honestly, he probably needs all of them for scan. Against Lurker and Burrow, he probably needs to be scanning with every ounce of energy. Maybe even grams. No, that's wrong. It's definitely ounces. Don't be dumb. EMP lands on the Vipers, but he already yanked the tank into the fray. Banelings chewing through the front line. Hydras pin cushioning the rest. The double Nidus as Oliveira scrambles to defend yet again. The Marauders should be enough, but Rogue has money in the bank. He doesn't have any sort of tech switch queued up. He has more Hydras, more Zerglings. I'm assuming we're going to see more Lurkers and Banelings. He's got a Nidus over to the right flank. Burrowed Zerglings finally getting cleaned up. I think the one in the center got incidentally killed. Maybe scanned as part of dealing with Lurkers. Another Nidus, multiple Screams. He's got just a couple Lurkers in there. Easily sniped out. And as Oliveira secures those outlying bases, of which he has 2 to 3 pretty happily mining, or at least mining, I'm not here to judge their emotional state. Nuclear launch detected as Oliveira. Oh, but the double spore countering the Liberators. He'll back off. Will it be in time? Just bare. Ooh. Both Liberators survive. The nuke will land, killing several unhappy larvae. The drones looking to go back to work, but it's a hazardous working environment. Meanwhile, medevac dropping out to the north side. Not gonna happen. Oliveira starting to mine out of his bases. Rogue doesn't have much more of a bank, though, especially in gas, where it's dead even. And this army, well, 6,200, 3,100 in value for Oliveira, 1,500 less in minerals, and a few hundred less in gas for Rogue, who is completely focused. What was that? I heard a ghost. It actually had like a voice line. Was that Nova? He's got the Nova skin one, right? I think Nova may have died. Just like her game. Well. Another nuke on the way. Lurkers trying to overwhelm. So far not finding success. Lurkers running over the field, but also scurrying back into the Nidus, depending on what side they're on. But another burrowed leg and another Nidus. And right now, Oliveira seems to be losing this nightmare mode campaign mission. He's struggling to deal with it, but it's the economy, stupid. Rogue is running out of bases to actually mine from. And we are getting close to the point where we do have to start counting how many mineral patches are left. Oof. Those Whittle mines forcing quite a toll as the Zerglings come by. And both players completely drained of gas. No fusion core, so therefore, well, the obligatory nuke liftoff shot. Always dramatic. No fusion core, so no Liberator range, no Caduceus reactor. And the nuke gets several drones. 5 drones, it looks like. The lurkers dotting the field, though. Cross-hatching anything that comes close. My God. Angry lurkers. And finally, the fusion core. As Oliveira realizes he needs that advanced tech to deal with any of this. It's going to be Liberator range. Hopefully it's going to be Caduceus reactor. He's getting high-sec auto-tracking, missile turret and planetary range, as well as building armor. So, Rogue finally finishing off those rocks he started on, like, it seems like ages ago. But we'll open up another path. 19 more overlords on the way, and here we go again. Oh, Rogue. Back at it again. The Nidus, all throughout the main, just slicing through the entirety of the production. An attack over to the right flank, an attack looking for the center, but the mines are doing a great job of the zone control against them. And chasing down the army in the center. I don't think that mine's gonna be able to lock on. This is Rogue's main now. He's got 2 of them. A single corruptor on the way. But the main Bioforce, if he disconnects the entire network, those units get deleted from the game. Now, they have to be in the worms while the worm and the network dies, but still, the possibility's there. Oliveira down to 168 supply, but he still has the army value lead. There's not too many ghosts left with the main army. Continues retreating backwards. The Overseers, in order to box out for the lurkers, make it that much harder to snipe. Both Changelings and Overseers can easily draw the snipes out if you're just using the rapid-fire magic wand style, as opposed to individually picking out lurkers. Terrans have sat for too long with their magical snipes just machine gunning down lurkers. And Rogue has found... Oh my God. It's truly a campaign mission. I like how the longer we get into StarCraft 2, the more we start imitating the campaign. Like, unironically, using these mass Nidus, mass Overseer. You know in the campaign how there's always a random Overseer or random burrowed Zergling? Well, here we are. Maybe that's what Rogue was doing during his military service, just playing the campaign a bunch. They're still allowed to play, they're just not allowed to play in tournaments. Alright. What a game, but Oliveira beset on all sides. He's still finding progress, he still has more army supply. He just can't find an angle to bring it to bear effectively. But it's not like Rogue has a ton of money in the bank. One particularly bad fight, and he could be completely tapped out. Using the Overseers to tank the mines as there's no more ghosts to cover for. The ghosts are on the other side of the map. We're going into a full-on base trade. The Hydras and their superior evolution lurkers will take down multiple planetary. Banelings roll in, and the ghosts will melt in the face of them. But more units, the Overseers, not enough. The Liberator's over the top. Rogue loses a lot of his lurkers. He accidentally burrowed the Hydras alongside the lurkers. Life goals, but Oliveira trying to staunch the bleeding here. Slapping a Liberator tourniquet on his expansions. Will it be enough? The Hydras take down one, another Liberator. He never got advanced ballistics from that fusion core. And also, there's no more fusion core because the main and the natural are gone. Oliveira is down to 5 barracks. What is the income? Rogue, the economic powerhouse. 143 to 100 supply. But it's not like Rogue could build much more either. The army supplies are still dead even. As Oliveira has less SCVs than he started with. He's repairing his precious orbitals. He has 3 ghosts, 2 Liberators, 8 medevacs, and 16 Widow Mines, which are usually a pretty strong choice in a base trade, but there's so many lurkers. The Widow Mines eat most of the shots. The Overseers overhead. Lurkers lining up, and we're gonna face off down the center. there is still a very real chance that Oliveira can push through. He has the unit composition. He has the ability to win the war of attrition. He has a very strong tactical position. And, of course, he has that strong Terran volition. Right now, he sends out a medevac on its very own mission. As is, of course, late-game tradition. Now, a lot of Terrans, they have superstition. They say a mass medevac drop at this time will lose you the war of attrition. But at the end of the day, anyone? Leave a comment. Well, in the pipe 5x5, right, boys? Yeah. You want a piece of meat, boy? Does anyone know this guy? Again. Oh my god. Oh, they found it. He was a little slow on the turn. So, Rogue. Oh, he drags in. The medevac actually, no, get over here and get out of here. Knocks it down. Oliveira has to rebuild supply depots. This is not a war of who wins, but who's left. More changelings. This mass marauder, that hatchery ain't gonna make it very long. Oh my god. Yeah, it's down. But if he overstays his welcome, and he's not welcome at all, so by default, they'll expect one of us in the... Well, he made it. Rogue, as Oliveira tries to pick up the scraps through the fire and the fury of this 28-minute game. Here come the lurkers. So many of them. Overseers in a bit of an awkward position, not going to block too many snipes, but there's only 3 ghosts. Only one liberator. The tide of lurkers is coming in. He's taken down changelings, but it may cost him. 1, it costs him time and attention, and 2, eventually it may cost him the ghosts. Oh my god. Individually targeted. There are just too many. The changelings are trickling in. And get over! Oh no! Every important unit is yanked out and eviscerated by the Hydras and the lurkers. And now he'll be forced to evacuate one of the last relatively safe locations. Oliveira is still mining to the south, running out of mineral patches. Rogue has retaken the north. It has 45 out of his 48 drones over here. 18 more Zerglings on the way. The army supply has dwindled for Oliveira. His medevacs are badly bruised. All of his core units have been taken down, and there's just not much left. Rogue takes it. What a game. GG. 700 Zerglings, 200 Marines, hundreds of Banelings. Rogue ends up losing 69,000 resources alongside 1,187 units. But not the game. Truly utilizing every bit. Rogue uses 100% of the Zerg. Like, he didn't build a single well, he didn't need an infestor. Why build an infestor or 2 when you could build 17 Nidus Swarms? Alright? Riddle me this. Wow. Well, I'm not sure how we're going to follow that one. But we do play best of 3, and Rogue has proven he can hang with one of the best late-game Terrans in the world in a straight-up brawl, and kind of redefining how to play that late-game Zerg as well. Not a massive shift, but at least a variation, a new evolution of Zerg, if you would. And since it makes me sound clever, I definitely would. With the Overseers, that we've seen Nidus or Zergling drop or Burrow before, but there's like a level of commitment required, it seems. Like, sending in a Nidus every now and again, it's not gonna work. Like, they're gonna have Marauder, Siege Tanks, sending in 3 Niduses. Well, that ups your likelihood. It's a bigger investment, but potentially an exponentially larger reward. What a game. Well, I'd like to take this tiny bit of starting the warm-up. We're not going to call it downtime. We'll call it the warm-up. Here at the beginning of Game 2 on Oceanborn, as the Zerglings flirt with the Reaper, and the Reaper plays hard to get as usual. To thank the big LiuLi Cup for sending me the games. I believe his name is Saber. From the community. Awesome to see these tournaments. As well as to take another opportunity. Beg you for the likes and subscribes. Especially the subscribers. We're going for 250,000. Ideally by the end of the year, which is a nice round number, and I wish, you know, half those people would show up every day, but I digress. A lot of fans. There's another queen waiting on the high ground. Here we go again. Really? Well, the Reaper lives, but the drone also gets the thing. But then again, I think by this point, most people know the schedule for games. If you want to find some new with a asterisk or 7, StarCraft 2, and it's most days that end in Y. So, though I am looking forward to some of the new projects coming out and updates as well. And if you want to see more info on those and just other sort of SC2 content, you can check out the second channel, yes. Winter Gaming TV. Got streams. I've been enjoying a lot of the... I'm looking forward to Factorio, which is just like SCV Simulator with even more imbalanced Terran versus the new Factorio Space Age, where it's effectively StarCraft. It's more StarCraft than StarCraft is. Just got to get those mods where it just straight up turns the biters into Zerglings. Already have the mod where it turns the drones into probes with the sounds and everything. Well, I don't know if the hyperflight was a bit. I feel like it was. Maybe he uses grid hotkeys. But hyperflight was such a weird choice. And ended up hurting more than helping. Ugh. Get off my creep! Yeah, you got him again, Brenda. Oh, don't be condescending. That means talking down. Which you have to do since you can't fly, Brenda. Patricia, you're new, so I'm gonna tell you this once. With all due respect. Shut the... Now the Banshee, acting as a glorified targeting advisor to help take out the Overlord. The Queen's congregating to drive back the Hellions. This time the Hellions very well microed. Keeps them all intact though. Creeps are gonna continue pressing out. Double Banshee. Cloak is done. Rogue not stingy with the overseers, anything but. And the 4th base, might get some of the drones, but unlikely to find too much success. Did he actually notice the Banshees moving? He did. 1 drone, 2 drone, red drone, blue Banshee. Melee and Carapace on the way, but already +1 infantry weapons and armor halfway there. And the Banshees, well, Rogue gonna lose a few drones, but build exponentially more. He's at 82 drones and 4 bases at 6 minutes and 45 seconds, which will translate into a massive economic boom. As you can see, well, the y-axis is not very dramatic there, only a twist of a few hundred minerals. But the Mule Canyons. Marines and Mons moving out. 1-1 finishing the triple threat. Oh, quadruple threat here. With infantry weapons and armor, stim, and combat shield. And if you want to count the medevacs into that, I won't disagree. Though, getting a bit forward, he's right on the edge of the creep. Baneling speed is not quite done yet. He's going to have most of these upgrades before Bane speed is there. The mines are very hard to deal with until you have Bane speed. Changeling, gun down. Zerglings. The ritual sacrifices gets 3 out of 4 of the mines. Gonna try to draw in another shot, but that one was good. He retargeted onto the clump. And aiming for the clumpiness is a tried and true strategy. Oliveira able to whittle down a lot of Rogue's initial banelings, and he's just keeping the pressure on here. Stays right at the edge of the creep so you can dance back and slurp up into the medevacs if needed. Done a good job keeping those medevacs almost entirely healthy. And now chasing down more. Oliveira still very similar on supply, which is a tough situation for the Zerg. Not able to cross through. Some Hellbats joining in. More and more heading out. Drops attempted. But Rogue bottled up in his base. And he just started his infestation pit. There's no hive tech on the way. In fact, he didn't even start his +2 upgrades. Which means Oliveira will have a significant advantage. With +2/+2. And any sort of edge here can cut all the way into the heart of the swarm. He really needs those upgrades as soon as possible. But he also needs a hive. So generally, just require more Vespene gas. Another great hit from the mines. Able to draw out a couple. Still no +2 upgrades. Marines, a bit of an awkward engagement. Trying to drag them into the mines, but the Zerglings will diffuse them explosively. But this is becoming a significant issue now. He's going to have a full upgrade event. It looks like Rogue's just going to try to win. He's just attacking outright with mass Hydroling Bane. He has the economy to perpetuate this. There's a full minute until that upgrade advantage kicks in. Rogue looking to kick in the door beforehand. Those SCVs not even evading this. 16 SCVs dead to the Banelings just casually moving across, but at the same time, Oliveira targets the hatchery. Transfuse is attempted, not remotely enough. Oliveira takes down the 4th base, but he doesn't take down the drones with it. So they can just transfer over to the alternative 4th, which, congratulations on your promotion. Changelings doing their awkward hand walk across. You ever feel like that? Most Mondays, eh? I don't know what I am in life. Ah! 2 more hatcheries and a hive. That's not happening. Quick cancel. 3 ghosts. Already in production as Oliveira solidifying his position. Rogue just started those +2 up. Oh no. That is a wide window. Oliveira building the right army. It's just that what Rogue is doing differently, it seems, than really other Zergs, is the vision, the way he uses all the tools. The Overseers with the Changelings, the Burrowed Lings throughout the games, and just the Changelings in general, not just for covering against the Ghosts, but constantly following the armies. His creep spread is a very useful but obvious tool that Terrans are well trained to deal with. But Changelings, on the other hand, traitors in their midst. Despite the lore, is a surprisingly difficult thing. And Adrenaline's on the way, but Oliveira, anything without banelings involved is going to be easy pickings for any concentrated Terran. Oh, Burrowling. Sees all of this, so Rogue is able to reposition his army accordingly. But the difference here from the previous is Oliveira has kept the economy as nearly even. He's maxed out. He's got the upgrade advantage. And if time goes on long enough, unsomewhat intended, he can just build the right army and win the war of attrition. Fusion Core is on the way for... he's teching up, ideally before Rogue can even have enough to respond to what's currently on the field. So he's going to go above the field instead, which is a much more consistent option, as you have to choose between Hydras and Lurkers, and that can be a devil's choice indeed. Some ghosts, and a remarkable lack of defense. He walled off part of the base, but, you know, there's the other part of the base, as the Banelings will just, alongside the Zerglings, kill dozens of SCVs, breaking through into the hello? 28 SCVs and counting. This drop is completely cleaned up. The medevac is knocked out of the sky. 37 SCVs. Oliveira gutted back at home. Just didn't have remotely enough to deal with this. And now he's getting cleared off the field because his attention was rightfully dragged away. Well, Rogue successfully bought time for those upgrades to complete. He still has a supply lead, though the army supply for Oliveira is quite an intimidating one. +3 armor about to complete. Infantry weapons actually a little slower, interestingly. The outlying bases are planetary, so Rogue went for the soft targets. But the next bases will be the harder ones. There's the armor. +3 carapaces on the way for Rogue. More ghosts in production. Ooh, Widowmine takes a chunk, leads the charge with another lane. Another hatchery taken down. Nidus is on the way. As Oliveira preempts it, he's got overseers. There's a burrowed ling at the natural that nobody noticed, I guess. Drop attempted will drag back a lot of the army of Rogue. And one thing I am noticing is, past the initial bit, his creep spread is slowed down significantly. He's only got 4 queens. He's barely rebuilt them. So the creep spread, once it's been cleared, is taking quite a long time in order to reestablish itself. The changelings made it into the main and served as vision for the Nidus. Even more mines out here, but he's dragging out the shots. Clears the minefield. Nidus pops out. Lurkers. Gonna need more than that. Another Nidus on the way. A potential escape Nidus, but now the Lurkers are infesting the main, but the Liberator count. Oh my. Rogue. Alright, he doesn't decide to back off. Instead, he repositions. Meanwhile, a drop to the north. A drop to the left. Yep, that's a certain way to describe things. He pops some Hydras out of the Nidus, which is a thing you can do, though. Kind of feels weird. He kind of semi-dodges some of the Lurkers. The Ghost, though, sniping many of the rest. The supplies dwindling on either side. Pops back into the Nidus because the cloak ghosts. There was no detection. So, Oliveira cleans it up. He stops the bleeding. Though, Rogue made some progress. He took a bit of an economic lead, at least for a time. So a couple SCVs try to chase down this orbital command as it lands again. That burrowed Zergling. Again, the real MVP. Burrowed Widow Mines, well, probably a better version of the same thing. Changelings continue trickling through, but what an exchange. A Spore Crawler out in front. Can't always have an Overseer. Another Nidus in the main. Wave of Changelings. Couple Lurkers to zone out at the outlying fourth. And Zerglings on top of the base. Lurker as well. Planetary taken down. Another Nidus attempted. Oliveira putting them down as quickly as they can pop up. He only has one Nidus network for now, and that's just not enough to get the job done. Clearing up the Changelings in the main. Cleared up a few Lurkers. And Rogue now left with very little to actually deal with this army. Instead, he chooses to go for the Planetary. Gonna find a lot. Burrows the Banelings, an interesting choice. But he might not actually kill the Planetary. He loses his hatchery. He can't mine from this base, though I don't think he realized why he pulled the drones away in the first place. Gonna lose even more to a Liberator. And Rogue is at nearly equal supply, but suddenly, well, his income just flatlined. Oliveira also lost a significant portion. Oh my. The Ghost caught on the field and Rogue again. He finds the exact right moment in order to turn things around. But the Liberator count is redonkulous. He's got 9 of them. The Olympic rings of liberation. I don't know if they're enough. He puts the... okay. The Overseers are kind of blocking his... I think he just blocked himself from targeting a Liberator. And Oliveira just crushes. As Rogue did not have a Spire. He had no way. He had no Vipers. He had no Spire. So he has no way to clear out that amount of Liberators. You need a much better economy in order to do it with Hydras. Because Hydras are not an anti-air unit. They're Lurker eggs in training. So in a pinch, they can be the anti-air, but that was a bit more than a pinch. So we're all tied up. Going in to game number 3. These two. So I feel like Rogue has the edge strategically. He has the better strategemeries, but Oliveira has very solid mechanics. Like, and that's the staple of Terran at this level, of course. But if you commit to these things, like the mass Nidus, the mass Lurker, you need to get something done because you're spending money just to even attempt it. It's not like you go and it doesn't work out. No, you've already spent money on the Nidus. All right, you already attempted to get a return on that investment. And when it doesn't pay off again and again and again, then it cuts into your economy. And Rogue plays that high risk but higher reward style. It's just the results don't pan out for him this time. Entertaining to watch, though. I think Oliveira adapted well with the Mass Liberator. Rogue definitely tries to avoid the Spellcaster style. And we're not counting Overseers, I guess, here. He really likes that Swarm Zerg, where you just, whatever it is, triple it. Okay? Niduses, triple it. Overseers, pentuple it. Lurkers, yeah, everywhere. Banelings, a few dozen more. The things that he isn't relying on are kind of this Turtle, Broodlord, Infestor style. Too many Vipers. Just all of these things that you normally attribute to Zerg late game are not even unlikely. They're just not even showing up at all. I think in game 1 he built a Spire and then he built 1 Corruptor. Like the whole game. Just acknowledging that at some point, come on in. Come out and play. Brenda, come back. The Reaper's not coming. He said he'd be here. The Reaper gets here at like 1 minute and, what is it, like 45 seconds? No, it's actually like 2:45 now that I think about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
The Reaper is dead, and now the Zerglings are knocking at the door. Thankfully for Oliveira, he's able to finish the command center. But, wow. Losing the Reaper to Slowlings is an inauspicious start for our Terran player. Overlord is speed on the way. As Rogue, he's already denied the scouting of Oliveira and going to make sure that he can't pull anything. That's the only risk here is on Amphion with your close air distances can easily become a surprise battlecruiser sort of game. So the Overlord speed, a immaculate choice. And in fact, it's going to be a medevac, which, well, it's going to pay off immediately because seeing that this is a medevac is such a huge deal. Wait, does he see it? Yes, he sees the medevac. He spotted it. He knows. The queens are scrambling back. At least one. Okay, well, another Overseer will confirm. Overlord will confirm it. Will it get away in time? Overlord speed may save the day yet again. If he loses this Overlord, he's actually supply block. No, he just finished a couple more. Now, double Evo's on the way. Rogue did a perfect... Oliveira does not have a third command center. He does not have a third command center finished. He doesn't have those engineering base. He has the Ghetto Viking, the Marine Vac here. But the Overlords are not quite fast enough, but will require some chasing down. But overall, Rogue still easily able to dispatch it. Double engineering bay just started. Feels like Oliveira a bit off balance to start things off. Losing that first Reaper, while not being a massive physical blow, emotionally devastating. Another Overlord popping in. Gonna get a bead on, well, the usual. He knows what this is. He knows what he's looking at. So, Oliveira not hiding anything. He's just gonna build a bunch of Marines, a chunk of mines. Yeah, sure, I'll go with that. And continue dropping the base. The Queens, though, not a big fan of this trap music. And, ooh, loses a couple. The drones are pulled. And medevacs will be taken down. A lot of Zerglings dying just because you know it's coming. Well, the Marines have taken a lot of damage. He's targeting the medevacs. The drones to fight the Marines, but he takes down a medevac. Oliveira, a bit overcommitted. Rogue actually only loses one drone. So, yeah, certainly could have been worse. About as perfect of a choice as you could have made there. Rarely do the drones get pulled without being slaughtered by in the dozens. But that was the exact scenario where he needed it. Oh, that Widow Mine, they work both ways. And, hello? The ritual sacrifice of the Zerglings. There's a couple more mines, but drags him out. And Rogue is knocking on the door. There's still the medevac at the front. The door's open. Rogue has an upgrade advantage, which against uncombat shielded Marines, well, it adds up very, very quickly. Idola's Den. Burrow already on the way. I love how Rogue is using it. Slurps up another round. Drops out yet again. But Rogue, despite the supply, the upgrades are so comfortable. He's already got a fourth base. If Rogue can get to Baneling speed without taking major economic hits. Burrowed Ling again. The Zerglings at the natural. The Widow Mines will take them out. I can't stress how nice it is to both have your opponent walk into a bunch of Banes and to have an upgrade advantage. Brenda! What? It was fine the whole time. Don't worry. You know, that was mostly just luck, Brenda. And I'm feeling lucky, Susan. I'm feeling lucky. Sorry, I blacked out for another mine drop. Trying to dodge it with the drones. Sacrifices one at the end of the day. Banelings rolling in. Widow mines will burrow. And he's trying to chase it all down, but a few banelings rolling by. Hello? Uh-oh. Oh, this is bad. Those banelings, they're almost dead, but that's kind of the problem. Gets to the ramp. Could have been so much worse, but the door is being ripped down. Liberator sieging up as Oliveira tries to retake control of the situation. Will lose his fourth base, but the Liberator finding some real damage. Rogue just now finished those +2 upgrades. Another wave of Lings and Banes. Spore Crawlers repositioning. Liberator, no! Another Queen. Gonna try to take out some of those medevacs. But here come the Lings and Banes. There's 21 Marines. And he's rolling in again. The Zerglings all over the SCVs. Oliveira doesn't have that many units left over. The Marines are splitting at the natural, but the Banelings are rolling right through. The mineral line is exposed. The SCVs explode. And the Marines, they survive for now, but the armory was taken down. Dropping the mules. Third orbital is gone. And Oliveira is at half the supply. The Zerglings on top of everything. Rogue still has 5 bases. It appears Rogue has 1. He's done it again. He finds that opportunity. The Executioner will claim another. And Oliveira, it felt like he was a bit tilted. It's not over. But he lost the third orbital, the most important part of all this. The orbital commands with their mules. That's it. GG. Rogue 2-1. What a series. But Rogue proving he's very much back in the running as one of the greatest Zerg contenders and just greatest players in the history of StarCraft 2. Well, that was certainly an experience, one I'd love to have again, and I'm looking forward to more and more as Rogue has completed his military service and seems to be maybe even better for it. And hopefully this made your day just a little bit better as well. Thank you to the big LiuLi Cup. Thank you for watching. If you got the means and motivation, it'd be awesome. Check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. So make sure to check out the second channel. You want some more content. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Congratulations to Rogue. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.